All right, so this is our final harvest of the year. Last night before it got freezing and snowed, went out and pulled up a bunch of all the plants that still had fruit on them, and then threw them in the garage. And then today went through and pulled all the fruit off. So we'll look at our final pepper harvest, which is almost all peppers. So here we have, let's see, these are Big Jims, which are a stuffing pepper, but they're actually pretty spicy. These are poblanos. Probably recognize those. They turn red. Actually, this one's a little soft, but there's a few of them there still for those deliciousness. And then all of these right here are the mariachi, which are not supposed to be too hot, but they were pretty spicy when we had them. They're supposed to be like a sweet, but they were spicy. Then we had some yellow or white eggplant. I think it was Hansel or Gretel, and then a couple. Let's see, these are some different green eggplant, little Thai Kermit and Masigo. Then we have, this is our chocolate bell, which is fairly chocolate. We'll have to see how it turns out. Some of them are green. We'll see if they taste sweet or not, or if we can just at least use them as a bell pepper. These here were Cuban or Cajun bell, so they're pretty spicy, even though they're like bell shaped. So I'm excited. I like those. And I don't know exactly which one these ones are. I believe these are called Cubanelle, but I'm not exactly sure. But both of these are really long peppers, and I think they're supposed to be sweet. So we'll see how they are. And just had a few more of those. So pretty happy with, these were all the ones in the main garden, and pretty happy with all that. So then our main pepper yields for the spicy peppers have been, the stuff is on the south side. So these are the serranos, which the serranos had 4 plants, the jalapenos had 4 plants, and the Hungarian hot wax only had 2 plants. And the serranos have been very, very productive this year. And then we have our final, harvest here. So some are red. They're good, any flavor or any time. I just basically been letting them go all the way to red since I could, because it's kind of just a different color and whatnot. But I don't know if they get any spicier or whatnot. But there they are. There's a ton of those. And then our Hungarian hot wax, they start off green and get a little yellow, waxy. And if you let them go, they will get reddish, yellowish. There's one that's kind of orangish, but yeah, they keep going and changing color. And they were very, very productive this year. And then there's our good old jalapeno. They started to, it wasn't not at the beginning of the season, but towards the end of the season, they all started to turn red when they got ripe enough. So, as you know, jalapenos are also good when they're green, but they will turn red, which still, like I said, makes a difference if you're trying to make sauces and stuff like that, and you can have a different consistency. And from the stuff in the front of the house there, front south part, the corner, we have our, these are cayenne peppers. They produced a bunch. I didn't realize there were that many until we went and pulled the whole thing out. So there's like a couple, or a dozen or so, maybe 20 of those. Not many of them red, but still. And then here's a bunch of Fresnos. These plants got really tall and rangy and were too heavily laden to kind of stand up straight. But there's another couple dozen of those in there. Most of them not red, but, like I said, I think they'll still provide some good heat. And then these are our hot cherry tomatoes. They didn't really take off until the end of the year, which is unfortunate because, they didn't have that many that were ripe. Maybe like a total of like 10 or 12 or so. And now we've got, 30 of them in there. Some of them have been really huge, and some of them are smaller, but now they're all done. So we'll have to see how the green ones taste there. And then other things we had, I think that's actually a Fresno. These ones are our Bulgarian carrot right here. Obviously you can tell easily when they're green. I think or when they're orange. And then the other ones we had were these little Thai hot peppers. Or no, these ones were called something else. They weren't the same. I tried a couple of them, and they weren't really that hot. Hot Laotian, that was the type they were. But they weren't really that hot, so I don't know if they were, what the deal was. But they're supposed to be hot like the Thais, but they weren't. So anyway, that's the last haul from the peppers. Had a very good year. Not a whole lot for those little guys. Pretty good for the Bulgarian carrot. Not too amazing, but they were kind of a small plant, both of them. This plant, the hot cherry, was very productive, but unfortunately at the end, it definitely needed to be staked. The Fresno will need to be staked for next year. It was very productive throughout. The little Cayennetta was one we bought at the end, and it did pretty well, especially given the time, so I'm really looking forward to that for next year. The jalapenos did wonderful. All of these ones I had multiple plants on did great. I really like the Hungarian hot wax for making peppered rings. And all of these ones need to be staked too. They got really tall, and this ones actually were really heavy on the vine. And then tons and tons of serrano. So definitely don't need 4 plants of that next year. So, and yeah, we'll have to look and see exactly how these sweet ones turn out. But very happy with most of the plants. Some of them don't. The pepper plants didn't really do very well. I bought a bunch of them at the late season, at the end of the June, and they didn't really do very well because I don't think they had a chance to get established. But anyway, so we have a bunch more, the last batch of peppers, and then we just need to get these dried up, cleaned up, canned, frozen, dried, whatever, eaten up. So thanks for watching, and that's the end of the peppers for 2016.